Hey guys, I'm Michael,
Tony.
and we got a story for you. As you can see right here in the background, this building right here with all the yellow and green and red, that is a company called Quick Cash Pawn. And we're going to tell you why you shouldn't do business with them. Stay tuned. Hey guys, so as you just saw a moment ago, we said you shouldn't do business with Quick Cash Pawn. And I'm going to tell you why.
Why, Michael?
Why, Tony? No, so look on your phone, Tony. When was Friday that we went? Was it Friday? Or was it Thursday we went?
I think it was Friday, I want to say.
And what
Well,
day?
it was either one of the two. I'll be honest, I really can't remember. It was either the second or the third.
So it was either April 2nd or April 3rd of 2026, which is a few days ago.
Yep.
Me and Tony had a DeWalt drill, as you guys can see in our shorts that we had. And, well, me and Tony wanted some money to go get something to eat. And we was like, okay, well, we'll go take this to the pawn shop and we'll sell it. So me and Tony would go, and I make Tony a deal. I say, if we get $100 out of it, I'll give you 50, and I'll take the 50 that I get from it, and I'll take us out to eat with it. He goes, okay, cool. And well, we get up to the pawn shop, Quick Cash Pawn, and we see that, we see that there's all new management there. All new people, completely all new. Well, the people that are all new there, they're just as ghetto as the people that were there before. But supposedly, from what I understand is, they're all gone. Even the manager was gone. As in, they got all new staff, completely all new staff. So that tells you one thing. Something wasn't right to begin with the old staff. But the new staff, even the new manager, is just as ghetto as the old staff. Well, the process is that we get in there and I tell him, hey, I'd like to sell this drill. He goes, the dude that works with me, his name is Chris. He goes, okay, I'm going to need you to show me that it works. I'm like, well, I kind of can't right now. The drill is dead. He says, okay, I'm going to need you to charge the battery up. I said, okay, well, here, man, I put the battery together on the base. I said, you can go charge it up. He says, no, I'm going to need you to go do it. I'm like, come on, man, you can't plug the thing in for me behind the counter? He's like, nope, you have to walk all the way down there at the end of the counter, and we got a plug down there. You have to plug it up and let the battery charge for a few moments, and then come back and show us that it works. I'm like, okay, that's just extra, but okay. So, we go down there and we do that. Well, in the meantime, he's like, well, let me go ahead and get your ID, and so I can go ahead and get you, pulled up and get the process going or whatever. Once you show me it works, and we can get you, to buy it from you. I'm like, okay. So I pull up my wallet, I hand him my ID, and after a few minutes, he comes back and says, oh, I can't do business with you. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it comes up as a red flag on my system. I can't do business with you. And I'm like, what in the world? I said, I ain't never sold y'all nothing bad. I ain't never been shady towards y'all. This company, I ain't never did nothing bad. Well, so they told us, well, I'm sorry, we just can't do business with you. So Ian plugged, the charger and stuff, and me and Tony, we walked out to my car. Well, me and Tony sat in the car for a few minutes, and we was like, man, that's crazy. As we were talking about that, and I said, hey Tony, I got an idea. I was like, you got your ID on you? He's like, yeah. I said, you can go in there and sell it. And he's just okay. And Tony goes in there and he sells it, or he tries to sell it. Sorry, but they wanted to offer him $15 for it. We had the carrying case, we had the battery, we had the battery charger, and we had the drill. We had a complete set. And they wanted to give us $15 for it. And it was a DeWalt drill at that, so it was name brand. It wasn't no bullshit. So me and Tony left or whatever, but the guy told me he was gonna get my name and my number, and he'd call corporate and figure out why I'm red flagged or whatever. So that was on a Thursday or Friday. Now today is a Monday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, today's Monday,
April 6th.
So they give me a call around 3 something, maybe 4 o'clock this afternoon. And they go, so I just got in contact with corporate, and apparently the Xbox that you sold had false, or you sold us an Xbox back in 2022, and then you reported it stolen. Now we're gonna let you hear that clip, just this right now. Whenever my little remote wants to work.
Chris speaking.
Yes, sir. My name is Michael Davis, and you spoke with me earlier about the reason I was banned.
Yeah.
I got you on recording real quick, man. Can you explain that one more time to me? And it's not for nothing devious or nothing. It's for my own. I'm trying to, so I got this fact straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we have a ban for a fraud report that was placed from Sanford PD.
Okay.
So with that being said, we can't do any business until you get that narrowed down with them. I mean, even if it's a mistake, like you have to go through with SPD and discuss that with them, because we can't do anything until that gets lifted.
Right, right. And was this about the Xbox that was in question that was sold in 2022?
I believe so. It doesn't specify what item. That's just what I would assume, because that was the last transaction that's in this history.
Oh, okay, okay.
It could almost be anywhere else, honestly, but SPD puts a hold on us. We don't do it. So if we punch you in on our system and a note comes up, it wasn't something that we put in. It was something that they put.
Okay. All right, and supposedly I filed a false police report, like as in stolen or something to them, or that's what was said or something.
Yeah, either somebody with your name, as your name, or of you, or some sort had pawned this specific item and then reported it stolen after.
Well,
And
there's
once
no
we found out that
question.
it was
Everything that's
stolen and
ever
that it was in here, I mean, like I said, man, I can't do anything for you. At this point, the only thing I'm capable of doing is letting you know, so that way you can follow through with that.
right, right, right. And like I said, I just got you on recording for right now, just for facts. So because I'm about to leave to go to the police department right now and try to get this stuff handled. But I just want to
Yeah,
make sure
I'm
my
sure they
facts
have
are
a
straight.
report. Yeah, no, I'm sure they'll have a report for you. So if you just go up there and give them your name, they should be able to pull that for you.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. You have a good one. I'm sorry about keep
Yeah, no
calling and
problem.
stuff.
No, you're good, dude. This is what I'm here for.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye bye. So as you guys just heard, that was the recording that Chris had told me about what had happened, and I had actually mentioned twice to him in that recording, that I was recording the conversation, and it was not for devious reasons, but to make sure I had my facts for whenever I went to the police department. But yeah, they tried to say that I had reported the Xbox stolen to the police department after I sold them the Xbox. So I called the Sanford Police Department and I say, hey, this is what's going on. Can I talk to a captain? They was like, well, this is not a captain issue. We can have an officer speak with you instead. Okay. They said, well, what's your address? I gave them my address. I'm like, okay, is the officer going to come out to me because I don't stay out in the city limits. I stay out in the county. I stay in out in the country. They're like, no, sir. You're gonna have to either meet an officer in the city limits or you're gonna have to come up to the Sanford Police Department. I said, okay. I said, well, is there any way an officer can just call me? They said, yes. So they got my phone number. I waited 20 or 30 minutes and no call. So in case there was an active warrant for my arrest, I called my grandmother and I explained to her what was going on because, I know my grandmother would bail me out. Would go to a bondsman and bail me out.
If it came down to it.
Yeah, if it came down that I had an active warrant. So she comes and gets me, and while I'm waiting for her to get here, Tony shows up. Tony gets off of work. Yep. Tony pulls in the driveway, explained to him what had happened, because Tony was already aware that they were supposed to call me.
Yep.
So Tony's like, well, I gotta go use the bathroom. So Tony goes takes a shit. I don't even know if you got the shit, did you?
I peed. That's all it was.
Oh, that's all you got to do.
That's all I had to do.
Oh, I thought you had the shit.
No.
Oh, okay. So Tony used the bathroom. He's like, okay, well, I gotta use the bathroom. I'm like, well, you need to hurry up because Manana's on her way. It wasn't even 2 minutes after he went inside. Here comes Manana coming in the driveway. Now I could have drove myself. But one, I didn't want my car to be stuck up at the police department.
Just in case if he actually did get arrested.
Yeah. So anyways, we went up there to the Sanford Police Department. They ran the lady at the front. I explained this situation to the lady at the front desk. She pulled my name up. Says, nope, we don't have anything from you at all that you filed any kind of report, much less a false report. I was like, so I'm sitting there trying to find a resolution. I'm like, well, is there an officer that I can talk to? Maybe he can, contact Quick Cash Pawn and try to figure this out, work this out. So the lady gets on the radio and has an officer come to the police station. And that officer speaks with me outside because I was outside smoking. He gets my ID and my information and he goes back to his car and runs my name. He says, I don't see here that you ever reported anything stolen, and that much less a false report. And I said, I know. I said, but for some reason, Quick Cash Pawn says that I reported to the Sanford Police Department that the Xbox was stolen. I know I didn't actually do a report. But I need your help trying to resolve it with them because they say, Quick Cash Pawn says it's your job, or not necessarily your job, but it's the police department's job to release my name off of some kind of list or something so they can do business. And the officer says, no, that's not how that works. We don't tell them who they can do business with. That's their own choice. But as far as them saying that you filed a false report or even a police report of anything stolen is incorrect. And I said, I know it is. Well, the officer didn't. I think the officer just didn't want to deal with it. So at first he told me he'd go out there and talk with them. But then after he found out that I didn't actually have it had no active warrants for my arrest. I didn't file any kind of report, much less a false report. He just didn't want to deal with it after that. He just told me, hey, you have to take it up with the Quick Cash Pawn. So as we're walking back, because it's a very long walk from the actual police department to the parking lot. So as walking back to the parking lot, I'm calling Quick Cash Pawn. And the person that answers the phone is the store manager. Now I'm going at it with the store manager, and I'm very respectful the whole time, but she's treating me like I'm a 2-year-old, talking to me like I'm a 2-year-old, telling me that she has no control over with what Chris says, even though Chris is her assistant manager and she's a store manager. That she'd have to talk with him about this recording, this audio recording or whatever. And that she's got me on speakerphone with another coworker right beside her, because I've already mentioned police and an audio recording. Well, I mentioned police because I was trying to explain to her, hey, Chris told me I need to go take this stuff with the Sanford Police Department to clear my name to get this stuff figured out. And then I said about the phone recording because I was letting her know, hey, because she kept saying that I don't know what Chris said and I can't. He's not here to defend himself, or he's not here to attest to what he really said. I said, well, he ain't got to be there to attest to what he said. I've got the audio recording. I recorded him, and I let him know that I recorded him. So, yeah. Don't do business with Quick Cash Pawn Shop. Now, I say that because even though we live in Sanford, Quick Cash Pawn Shop is not just local to Sanford. They have other locations throughout the United States. This is why I don't do business with Quick Cash Pawn Shop anymore, and they've always been a shady place. And I don't even know why I would ever go to them in the first place, because they've always lowballed me on stuff. I'll give you an example. I went into a pawn shop, or I went into Quick Cash Pawn Shop. Let's say I go buy a brand new Xbox and games and controllers, and I spend $1,000. Well, an hour later, I go to a Quick Cash Pawn Shop. They want to offer me $200 for everything. But I could go to other pawn shops, and they're like, okay, we'll give you like $700-800.
Yep.
So they're very shady people. They want to get the cheapest out of the cheapest. And on top of that, now they want to drag people's name through the mud and accuse them of things that never happened. They're trying to say I reported back in 2022 that I sold them an Xbox, which I did. That part's true. I did sell them an Xbox. But they tried to say after I sold it to them that I made a police report with the Sanford Police Department saying that it was stolen, and then the Sanford Police Department said that it was a false report, that I was lying, and all this other stuff. Obviously, that's not the case, Quick Cash Pawn. I did my part. I went to the police department. They ran my name. I've never filed a report, much less a false police report. And then the fact that I got talked to the way I got talked to on the phone, like I was a fucking 2-year-old because she didn't want to do her job, that's ridiculous. What do you got to say about all this, Tony?
Negative.
Stop saying that. That is racist.
No, it's not.
It means black in Spanish, but you got to realize it's sounds very similar. If we have a black audience, they're gonna think we're racist. We're not racist.
Gringo. Wetback.
Okay, why are you saying racist
Ching
things?
chong.
I'm frustrated. I'm sorry, y'all. You got to realize my name's been drugged through the dirt, so I'm sorry for that too. But that is some good advice. You shouldn't be saying racist names, or it could offend somebody. We're not here to offend nobody.
I am.
But seriously, what do you think about this whole situation?
It's stupid, honestly. Because even if, they, even if they were trying, well, let's just, put out there, let's just say somehow, some way, and I know this is not, but it's hypothetical. Let's just say they were able to find some evidence or something. Just the way that they were, like, going about it is they were kind of saying it wasn't even really evidence. It was just more of he said, she said kind of thing. just going back and forth and being like, oh, well, he's the one that did this, so I can't do anything, but I'm above him, so I'm allowed to do stuff above him, but I can't help you because he's not here right now, and then just
Clarify what you mean. You're talking. Wait, what Tony's talking about is the manager that I spoke to, the lady I spoke to on the phone after I talked and visited the Sanford Police Department, which is the manager, and then she's talking about, well, even though she's the manager and over him, she can't do nothing about what he says, and she's not going to talk on what he's talked about.
It's more a retail kind of thing. It's like it's the whole retail perspective. Is in the store manager is the top of the chain. Whatever she has right to do anything and everything in that store. They have granted her power to open, close, to do paperwork, to take in yes and no, what they want to, what they can't, how much they can give out. They've given her all that power. Yes, even though we may have dealt with another employee, that shouldn't matter at all because everything still has to go through her, as it should go through her. And if it doesn't, the company's just doing just bad stuff over there. Like me as working at at AutoZone and stuff. Yes, I'm in management position, but there's still people above me and beneath me. But even me, even their stuff that I do, I still have to report to a higher person above me. I still have to go to my manager. Like there's things that I do before I do something, I tell him about it, or I'll go to him and say, hey, I'm doing this, or hey, the customer needs this. Can I do this?
And Tony's an assistant. Well, he's what you would classify as an assistant manager.
I'm
and
pretty
Tony's
much in charge when the store manager's not there. Even if he's there, I still have power to do things whether he's there or not.
But you still have to go through the store manager, and the store manager is supposed to be the all-knowing of anything that happens in their store.
Yep. Even though I have the power to do whatever and anything in that store, I still go to him because he's the top of the chain. I still go through him because I'm not going to let anything fall on me. If it falls, it'll be onto him. I'm not putting it to say, I'm throwing bad things on him, but he can have the final decision on top of what I do, or he can be like, hey, this is what we can do for you, or this is what, we can do for this person, to keep the people coming through, not to just, be like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry, you're just going to have to go somewhere else, or you're just going to have to deal with it, or go through corporate. When you're given power, you have to use the power that you're given. It's not there just to sit there and look pretty.
I just don't understand. Like, why did they pin it on me? Something I didn't do. Try to say I made a false police report. Why me? Why did they pick me? Did they have like a hat full of names and my name just got, my name was the one that got drawn? Is that how I got choose? Why me? And that question can be applied to a lot of things. I've been dragged throughout my whole life. Bullshit like this. I don't know if I just got bad luck or what the deal is, but my name's always got drug through shit that ain't true. Hell, this almost could have landed me in jail.
And it could have been somebody else's doing, but
and I didn't even do nothing. I didn't even make a report, much less a false report. So somebody needs to be held, responsible for this, including management at that particular store, and including corporate of Quick Cash Pawn. Because you almost had me arrested for something I didn't even fucking do. And then they tried to blame it on the Sanford Police Department, saying that the Sanford Police Department was the one that was saying that we can and cannot do business. Or we can, or cannot do business in that store. I don't know if you guys know, but filing a false police report is considered a Class 2 misdemeanor.
Yeah.
which is punishable up to 60 days in county jail. Now, I'd be one pissed off motherfucker if I was actually in jail for something I didn't fucking do. Luckily, I covered my ass by going to the Sanford Police Department, who they claim is the reason for all this. They pulled my name up. They searched all their records. I've never made a police report, and I knew I didn't ever make a police report about something being stolen. I knew I hadn't. So, this is why you guys need to watch out for Quick Cash Pawn right here.
There's other places like this, but they're the main ones right now. Though, and anyone that's just thinking to say something, you gotta forgive him. But you gotta think, if you were in his shoes right now, how would you feel? Like, I'm not in his shoes, but I'm pissed about it. If I was in his shoes, I'd be more pissed about it.
My life was on the line. I mean, not like life and death, but my life was on the line. Me going to fucking jail over something I didn't fucking do. They tried to say I filed a false police report. You're gonna put somebody innocent in jail because for what? What is going on behind the scenes at Quick Cash Pawn for you to blame something on somebody? Did an item get missing? In the store? Is that what happened? And then y'all had to make something up to fucking, cover your own ass and why you stole, like, say a coworker stole the Xbox and I sold them back in 2022. Is that what happened? You stole the Xbox that I sold to you guys? See, once I sell it to y'all, my hands are clean. Because I know for a fact, one, it wasn't stolen. Because I bought the Xbox brand new from GameStop. And I got bored with it after a year of having it, so I sold it. So I know it's never been pre-owned, so I know there's no way that I could have bought a stolen item to begin with, because it was brand new when I bought it. So if that could have been, what I was trying to mean by it. The other thing was, I know for a fact that I have never sold them anything, and then after that went and filed a police report saying that the item was stolen, that I got robbed or something like that. And then they found the item at the pawn shop. So the only thing I can think of, and the reason I think this is because the people in the past that worked there, something would come in the door, and the company Quick Cash Pawn wouldn't want to buy it, but they would have private sales, private sales with the customers, and leave Quick Cash Pawn out of it. They would do like shady shit, you know what I'm saying? Or the dude would be like, well, me and Kat has both heard the dude go say, oh, I'm gonna go put this in the back, put it in the back. This is for me later. Like they gonna take stuff from the store. So that's why I said, what did the old people, the people that used to work there, what kind of shit did they try pulling? Or what did they steal from the store? The employees that worked there, did they steal from the store and then try to blame it on me? Possibility. But somehow it got put into their system that I sold them the Xbox. And then when I left the store, I called the police and reported it stolen. And I guess the police then, this is all hypothetical because it never happened. And then the police figured out that I actually sold the Xbox to the quick cash or to the pawn shop, the quick cash pawn. And then they notated in their system they couldn't do business with me anymore because I reported it stolen after I sold it to them. Now again, all that was hypothetical because that never happened. Yes, I sold them an Xbox in 2022, and I've not done business with them since then. So that's 4 years I've not done business with them. And then when I actually go to the Sanford Police Department to try to clear all this up, they run my name. One, I don't have any active warrants. And if you make a false police report, remember that's a class 2 misdemeanor. That's maximum 60 days in county jail. 2, they can't find anything on record that I made any kind of report at all, much less a false report. So that's the second thing. But then whenever I confronted Quick Cash Pawn about it, they wanted to talk to me like I was a 2-year-old. Then they wanted to change their story up. I should have recorded that bitch ass manager that I talked to, so y'all could have seen how she talked to me as like a 2-year-old. I told her that I didn't appreciate her attitude and that she was very unprofessional. And I eventually told her that this was not going anywhere, that I was going to get off the phone. And before I could even finish what I was saying, she hung up on me. So, you guys know now not to do business with them. Matter of fact, there's one other pawn shop in Sanford that I'd only probably do business with, and they're called Kendall Pawn Shop. And I trust them because my grandparents knew the people that owned it when they were kids, and then when they opened their own business up, my grandparents started doing business with them. And anytime I go in there, there's this guy named Randy. He automatically recognizes who I am. I'm Robert and Teresa's grandson. And he is the nicest man in the world, and he looks out for my family, and he gives us great deals just because of who we are. So, yeah. Now, you guys remember that. You guys need to watch your own back, because something like this could happen to any one of y'all. Again, my name is Michael.
I'm Tony.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Remote again. I think the battery's dying on it. I need to charge it.